Hello, and welcome to Life After College, brought to you by the Penn State Altoona's Communication Program. I'm your host, Joe McGoldrick. On today's show, we'll be looking at how to make a smooth transition from college to the workforce. We've invited a few guests to talk to us about their experiences. With us today, we have Penn State Altoona's Director of Career Services, Rebecca Magruder. Hi, Rebecca. Nate Cobbler, a Penn State graduate and current sports writer for the Bedford Gazette. Hi, Nate. And Jim Steiner, a part-time lecturer at Penn State Altoona and a graphic design artist. Hey guys, one of the biggest issues with going outside of college is working on a resume. Mm-hmm. Rebecca, what are some key issues you can talk about for students and how to make their resumes better?
When working with students in the Career Services office, it's really important to craft that resume to the position description, and of course there can't be any grammatical or spelling errors. And then also choosing the correct format. Typically for traditional students, we're encouraging more of a chronological format to showcase their internship experience, their work experience, their college projects. And then also for more non-traditional students, more of a functional format to showcase those transferable skills and then what career change they're going to be making for their next position.
What are some common problems that you come across in your everyday workday of resume problems?
Well, of course, the resume cannot have any grammatical or spelling errors, and then we're always cautious of, minimizing any political affiliations or religious affiliations, that type of thing. You want to, craft that resume to the position description.
Now, I know you talked about how important grammar was in a resume. What are some key words you would say that bosses look for or interviewers look for when looking over a resume?
Well, according to the National Association of Colleges and Employers, you want to emphasize the ideas of leadership, the teamwork pieces, problem solving, analytical skills, multicultural skills, the ability to work with diverse clients, technical abilities, the computer skill aspects. And you want to showcase a GPA of 3.0 or higher, and of course that internship experience is something that can't be overemphasized enough. The more internships, the better.
When I went down to Career Services the other day, one of the biggest things they emphasized was not to use high school jobs. Do you feel that's a very important issue concerning resumes and not having a too crowded population of jobs on your resume as far as high school jobs? You feel you shouldn't have them?
Well, when we're working with the first-year students in college, they're very surprised to hear that they don't include their high school education or some of the high school high school activities that they've done. When you come to college, you emphasize your education in college, you emphasize the college activities that you've done in college, the course projects that you've accumulated in college, and the work experience and internship experience. And so when first-year students go through a resume writing workshop with us, all of a sudden the light bulb goes on and they say, uh-oh, I need to start working harder and I need to start accruing those experiences while in college so that I can be as marketable as possible once I leave college.
Now, I know another big thing they also look for is cover letters. I know cover letters are supposed to express everything about you and what you can do for the job and how you can apply yourself. Mm-hmm. Do you feel cover letters are a very big issue in even getting to the resume for interviewers to look over?
When you're putting a cover letter together, you want to, again, craft that cover letter to the position description. You want to showcase, of course, the position that you're applying for, the second paragraph showcasing how you're a fit for the position, your education, your experience, your skills, and then of course that third paragraph indicating, that you would like to come in for an interview and to showcase those skills. So the cover letter is that first opportunity for that employer to see your written communication skills, and so it opens that conversation up. And then of course the resume. Does that individual have the internship experience, work experience, course projects, college activities, that GPA of 3.0 or better? And again, would they be a potential fit for the position? And then of course that could open the door for an interview.
As far as the interviews are concerned, what do you think is the appropriate dress attire to wear for an interview?
You want to be conservative during an interview. So a navy blue or black suit would be wonderful to wear. You want to wear conservative jewelry. Again, even the neckline with your blouse, make sure that it's appropriate. Even with the women when they're wearing their skirt suits, make sure that skirt suit hits the knee. And of course, conservative pumps. And then bringing a leather portfolio to an interview would be also very important. so that you can then have your questions prepared for the employer, bring plenty of copies of your resume, and of course collecting business cards as well for the interview.
And outside of dress attire, what do you think is an important issue that employers are looking for in an interview? Like, are they looking for key things you're supposed to talk about?
One of the things that we cannot overemphasize enough is the idea of researching an employer, researching their products and services, researching their mission statement, what they value, and also taking a look at their strategic plan. Where does that company hope to be in 5 to 10 years from now? And then you want to tie in how can you contribute to that company and their mission statement and your skills, strengths, and that's how you want to prepare. And then also another technique that we encourage students to do is the STAR technique. STAR stands for situation, task, action, and result. And we encourage students to create STAR stories. For example, if I were a fundraising chair for Thon, that would be a great opportunity to show a STAR story where I planned and organized fundraising activities, and I identified 40 volunteers, and we went out into the community and we gathered funds, and as a result maybe we collected $18,000. And by showcasing that STAR story, you can show the transferable skills that you could potentially bring to a company.
As far as, I know there's a fine line in between what you should say in an interview and what you shouldn't say. What are some things interviewers do not want to hear you talk about?
Well, in an interview, again, you want to showcase those transferable skills, and again, you want to emphasize the qualities that you can bring to the organization, your skills, strengths. And again, whatever the position description is looking for, you want to showcase examples of that during the interview. So you don't want to bring up, extraneous information that isn't going to advance your candidacy for the position.
Now, Nate, I know you're a recent graduate from school. Do you remember your first interview?
Yeah, I mean, I do remember. I mean, I unfortunately didn't have to go through the whole exact process. Basically, what had happened is I was went to look for an internship, and I went and met with the sports editor of the local newspaper, and I said, I'm looking to get an internship for school. I said, I'm not looking to get the credits for it. I said, because with the way money was, now as it is now, I said I don't feel like paying for the credits. I said, so I'd rather just get it for the experience. So when I showed up, I was in a shirt, a tie, dress pants, and shoes and dress shoes. But and I come in there, I was waiting for him, and I was there before the sports editor was there, and ended up I got out as he was coming out of his car. He goes, I hope you don't expect to be wearing that the whole time when you come here, for an internship. And I said, hey, I always try to look good whenever I'm going to something as important as this. So and he was just joking around and saying, you're not gonna have to wear this kind of stuff whenever you're in here. And so, but yeah, I mean, there wasn't a whole lot of stress on myself because I felt confident in myself when I was going in, because I knew the things I'd be talking about as far as the sports or the whole learning aspect and stuff like that. So in that aspect, I mean, it was a little nerve-wracking, but it wasn't as bad as probably what it could have been.
Now, do you feel, even though that he said you didn't have to dress up as well for your job, do you still feel when you did dress up, it did make a key impact on him as far as you getting the job?
I think so, yeah, because if people see when you go to your interviews that you're willing to go above and beyond the measures to wear something to make you look good enough, decent, they're more than likely going to be, hey, if he's going to go above and beyond just for an interview to dress like that, then he's going to go above and beyond to do his job.
Now, Jim, do you remember your first job, and do you remember how you dressed for the interview?
Sure do. Yeah, there are a lot of things that we were told also that could be good. My first job actually out of college was a teaching position. So therefore I was obviously going to be in a coat and tie and make the presentation and so forth, and even had a resume and a portfolio ready to show just in case they wanted to see if I could actually do artwork and things like that. So, and that worked out well. I mean, as an employer also, I've done a lot of interviews, people coming right out of college or maybe transferring but other jobs, things like that. And I've had people come in, like Nate says, very professional looking. And I know my daughter in her request for looking for jobs, her professional look was very important to those people. I've had people come in though in jeans and a t-shirt with all kinds of body piercings visible and things like that. And quite honestly, in my business at that time, those kind of people might have scared some of my clients, you know, when you get into that point. But it was a discussion we would always have with the students who would come in, and you know, maybe help them to even improve their appearance or what they bring along. I think also attitude has a lot to do with it. You know, I don't necessarily want to see somebody who is real shy, but then again, you know, you don't want to see them overconfident as well. I know a friend of mine was the president of a company that does engineering work, and he had a student come in from Penn State, and he asked him a question. He likes to really get to know the students well, and he said, "Where do you think you're going to be in 5 years?" And the student said, "In your chair right there." He said, "Time out. That's not the kind of guy I want to see," you know, just a little too confident. So I think you have to be you know, a little bit humble and learn as much from the interview and play off of the person you're interviewing with as much as lead it, that kind of a thing. So I think those things are a little important as well.
Now, I know many students, like you just said, expect to be very far in their position as soon as they get out of college. What did you expect, or what should students, I should say, should expect leaving college, and where should they find their first job, and how important should it be as to where they want to reflect in the rest of their career?
Yeah, I'm kind of old school, as you can tell. That it's kind of obvious, but when I graduated college, I had already put in 28 resumes. I wanted to be working for an ad agency in the Pittsburgh area, and I put out 28 resumes. I got one interview. And also, I had taken some advice from my dad years ago. He said, you know, you can be an artist, you can do this, but why don't you get that teaching degree, because they can never take that away from you. And I kind of listened to that and had all that stuff ready. And it just, you know, it really worked well for me, you know, to be in that position, to work with that.
Now, Nate, I know you're a recent graduate. How long do you expect to stay with the Bedford Gazette, and do you expect to move up in your position anytime soon, or where do you want your career to go from there?
Well, I mean, as far as being there, I mean, I plan on being there, you know, as long as I need to be there. You know, my main goal is to, you know, hopefully see my face on ESPN someday or on the sideline somewhere. But I know that's going to take a while. It's going to take a long time, because you have to get your name out there. You have to get it out there nationally. You know, locally, yeah, that's cool. Everybody knows you. You know, they know who you are, and you know, they read your stories. But when you get nationally, that's how you know you're going to get recognized. So, you know, I'm going to be there as long as I have to be. It's one thing that you have to do, and it's just a stepping stone. You have to take things one step at a time in order to get to your main goals. So
I think Nate's been pretty lucky to be able to have some kind of a position like that
Yeah.
maybe he could transition into a career, that kind of thing. You know, a lot of people don't have that opportunity, or, you know, maybe would like to. I know my brother did that at the University of West Virginia. He worked in the sports information office and transitioned later on to become the sports information director. You know, it worked really well for him. You know, for me, you know, I was telling my class here at Penn State not long ago that when I did come out of college, you know, I thought, hey, I'm going to get some kind of something anyway. You know, well, the answer that I always got when I had an interview was, well, you don't have any experience yet. And I said, okay, but can you give me some experience? Hire me and I'll learn, that kind of thing. No, you wait until you have some experience, then come back. And that never really worked well for me, that you can't get experience without being hired, and you can't get hired without having experience. And bottom line was, I had my teaching career, but I started a business on the side. I ended up starting my own ad agency. And you know, sometimes that can be something that you could at least look for, you know, to get experience. But you know, like Nate had a lot of experience during college, maybe, you know, even in high school, and I had a lot of things like that, where, you know, you let her race cars and you do posters for the church and things like that. At least in the art world, you can do a lot of things that not necessarily resume builders, but you know, you can talk about it in an interview, or tell people you have certain experiences that may lead up to the position you're seeking.
Okay, we're going to take a brief break, and we'll be back with more Life After College.
The United Way gives the children of Blair County a chance for a better future. The United Way provides essential resources which children in our community count on to realize their fullest potential. the United Way works closely with community leaders and volunteers to help build futures. In that way, what you give helps make our community a better place to live.
Big Brothers Big Sisters is a nonprofit organization, and in order to run, we totally depend on money that we get from places like United Way or other kinds of grants that we apply for. Well, the mission and goal would be to provide role models for boys and girls that don't have good family structures, perhaps. Originally, it was intended for boys who didn't have fathers, who were only being raised by their mothers, and so the goal would be to provide them with a male role model that they would meet with. It's expanded now, where it also provides women as big sisters for girls. And we try to also have other kinds of activities for children for whom we don't find a match, but try to provide some sort of good adult role models for them.
The United Way of Blair County advocates for the people and organizations that help make our community better. The people in Contact Altoona work hard to provide help for our community. Contact Altoona is a telephone helpline which provides listening services, reassurance calls, crisis intervention, and information and referral services. If you feel you are all alone, there is a place to call. Someone will be there who will care, who will listen. The United Way of Blair County is an advocate for the many volunteers who care and work tirelessly to provide a voice for those in need. The United Way works as an advocate to help improve the quality of life in our community, one phone call at a time.
The United Way has helped Contact Altoona in our community outreach for 211 services and to bring 211 to Blair County. Contact Altoona is a community helpline that's been in Blair County since 1982. We're fully staffed by dedicated volunteers. It's the place for individuals to call when they have nowhere else to turn, rather they're dealing with a crisis situation, just need someone to talk to, or looking for information referral about community agencies. Many times when an individual's in a situation, they don't know what agencies can help and respond. So what happens is there's 16 calls made to 16 different agencies and the caller's left feeling frustrated. Whereas if they would pick up the phone and call 211, they can get the answer and get right directed to the services that will be able to help them. One thing that I think that is very unique to Blair County and Blair County can be extremely proud of is the support that the United Way gives to local agencies in providing services to meet the needs of our community. If you travel within other counties and that, you don't often hear of that level of support, but it's right here in our home.
United Way volunteers provide countless hours of their time, working as a team to make our community a great place to live. The United Way of Blair County is there for families with busy lives and challenging commitments. Our volunteers make the lives of our community better and give their time generously because they are committed to keeping our community healthy, vibrant, and a place we can all be proud to call home. United Way volunteers are there for you and me.
The United Way and Home Nursing Agency probably go back 30-some years. And United Way also looks for needs in the community and looks for dollars to raise. Nurse Family Partnership is a grant program, which means we receive certain dollars and we follow certain guidelines. And it is for first-time moms, and it is a program that really tries to promote good parenting skills. A lot of our moms could be as young as 14, 15 years old, and trying to be a parent at that age can be very difficult. We follow the mom and the baby up and through 2 years of age. So what we've looked for from the United Way is to help us with some funding to keep the program. You have to have so many nurses for so many moms. And what we've found in the past, sometimes funding doesn't fully cover that, doesn't cover the need. So with United Way dollars this year, we're able to provide another nurse, to provide another caseload of about 20 new mothers. Home health care is for a service for people who are recovering from an illness, discharged from a hospital. Anyone can make a referral. So if there is, again, it serves all ages. Home care is available for all ages, but our average population for home care are in the 50s and the 60s and older. And again, these are people who want to be independent in the home. Our goal is to get them in, get them better, get them out of the house, and be able to rehab them to their fullest potential.
Underneath everything we do, we are people, connected, interdependent, united. And when we reach out a hand to one, we can influence the condition of all. That's what it means to live united. Show how you give, advocate, and volunteer by contacting the United Way of Blair County. Call 814-944-0884 or visit our website at www.unitedwayofblaircounty.org.
Welcome back to Life After College. Now, Rebecca, I know you're the Director of Career Services. What experiences have you gone through to get yourself to the position you're in now?
Well, undergraduate, I was a bachelor's degree in communications, and so my first year I thought I was going to be an anchor. And so I got involved with the college's television station as a weather anchor, and then for my sophomore year I got involved with the college's radio station and newscasting. Junior year I did a public relations internship, and senior year I did an internship in the admissions office. And throughout my college career I knew that I was building skills, and until my senior year, when I finally did the admissions, did I really find my niche. And so I knew then I would have to go on to get my master's degree in student affairs. And so I pursued that at IUP, and I got my master's degree, and I got a graduate assistantship in career services, and that offered a stipend, and that also then paid for my tuition. And so while I was doing my graduate assistantship in career services, I was also required to do internships, and I did an internship at Seton Hill University. And just before I graduated, the semester before I graduated, I got a call from that supervisor, and she said, "Rebecca, I'm going to be taking a 6-month grant-funded position. Would you like to take on an interim director of career services position while I go and do that grant-funded gig?" And I said, "Absolutely." And so that's a great example of where an internship potentially could turn into a full-time job opportunity. And so I did an interim director position. Then I graduated in May and finished my gig at Seton Hill in September, and all the way I was doing my job search. And then ultimately I got my position at Penn State Altoona in 1997. And it was a wonderful opportunity because at that time Penn State Altoona was transforming from a 2-year to a 4-year college. And so it was a wonderful opportunity to develop a career planning placement operation from the ground up.
As far as your feelings about life after college, how do you feel students should use the career services program even after they graduate? Do they still have access to it as far as what they can do for their resumes or where they can go to get their new jobs?
Absolutely, especially in this economy, as you can imagine, sometimes students are well poised and positioned. They've taken on many internships, and maybe their internships have turned into full-time positions. And they know exactly the types of companies that would look to hire them. But then there are other students that may be still struggling as to, okay, I've selected the major, I've gotten a little work experience, but I'm having a difficult time making that transition into the workplace given the economy. And yes, Career Services at Penn State Altoona does still offer lifelong career planning resources and services to the alumni. And we have a variety of resources that they can tap into. We have a resource called Nittany Lion Career Network. And all the different Penn State locations are posting all their job opportunities onto that. And not only are they entry-level job postings, but they're also seasoned professional postings as well, and they can utilize that resource. We also have a resource called referenceusa.com, and we can identify particular companies in a certain geographical location. And of course, an alum might even say, I'm career changing. And so if they wanted to do, say, an informational interview with another Penn State alum in another career field, they could use LionLink and then find out a little bit more about a different career path. So we have a variety of resources for alums as well.
Okay, thank you. Now, Nate, I know you're a recent graduate. How do you feel you've changed the most since graduating college?
That's a tough question. I would have to say my work ethic, without a doubt. I mean, I had a high work ethic when I was in school because I knew I had to do the best that I could to, succeed in what I wanted to do. But now that with all the deadlines and everything else that I had in school, when I was in school, I was still working with the newspaper, and I was still, so with that experience I was having with the newspaper, that was helping me at school. At the same time, school was helping me there because it was helping me get done with deadlines easier. I was juggling 2 things at one time, but the experience that I had with deadlines at school helped me with the deadlines at work whenever I had to have something done. So.
Now, I know at school you have access to a bunch of utilities such as professors, advisors, and the tons of computer programs we have to use here. What do you feel you miss the most from being in college?
I'd have to say the professors. without a doubt. And you know, you could always turn to them whenever you needed anything. You know, I had gym for class, and whenever I had problems with anything, I knew I could come to Jim, whether in his class or a different class. I could talk to him about anything. You know, with Mary Lou and Bob, I had both of them. I worked with Livewire when I was here, and I grew such a close relationship with those two professors that when I left, I almost didn't want to leave because of the professors. It wasn't so much, you know, yeah, you make those friendships with the kids that you're in classes with, but you know, like I said, it was more the professors that I missed the most. So.
Now, Jim, as far as students that are graduating, what expectations of life after college should they have compared to what their expectations are? Like, as far as I'm about to graduate and I want to be able to find a job right away, I want to be able to start having money, where should I see myself in the next 2-3 years for getting ready to graduate college?
You never know, and it's something not to be afraid of. I think I would advise students that you never know where you're going to end up. You may be in a totally different job as opposed to your what your major was, and you may find things during the first job you have that maybe you like one direction, you're going to go that direction, things like that. But you're going to learn a lot. Like, college is not the end of learning. You know, life is learning. Believe me, you learn something all the time. So I would expect that, you know, to tell students to do that and get in and do the best you can do, be the best you can be. Be reliable. Like, if you show up late for your interview, you got a problem. And, you know, we've had people come to work for our company that asked off the first day. And said, you know, well, I'm going to be late tomorrow because I have to take my girlfriend somewhere. Not a real good opening. So be reliable. When people, most of the business leaders that I know are looking for reliable people they can count on. And, you know, in a pinch if you need it, and just from the get-go, you know, don't lean into something like that. Be reliable from day one.
You know, it's you're saying you got to be reliable. That's one thing for sure. With that reliability, people are going to look to you more if they know they don't have somebody to rely on. You know, and that's a key issue for advancing in your career. You know, if you show that you're willing to step in when it's needed and to do the extra work, then they're going to turn to you more, and that's going to just create more opportunities for yourself. And with us as a communications program, you are able to do anything. You know, we're taught to do website design, we're taught to do film, we're taught to do audio. You can do anything. So you don't have to necessarily set yourself to one main aspect, like Jim was saying. You could end up in a totally different career than what you had thought. You know, with me, I'm in newspaper. You know, there was actually times where I thought I was going to go and maybe do like public relations, but I'm in newspaper, and I want to get on radio. So I know I have the experience for that. So like I said, if I could give any advice to any of you guys, is to be multi-purpose, because the more you're able to do, the better and further you're going to get along. Because I'm telling you, with the experience that I've gained, I've been able to do so much more. When I was with the Altoona Mirror, I was doing just straight reporting. Okay, I was with the Mirror for about 1.5 years. Well, as it started going on, they started teaching me to lay out the newspaper. With that experience I gained, that was able then to give me more opportunities, to where now that I'm with Bedford, as soon as they seen that I had the layout experience, they said, yeah, we want you. And when I was in that interview, they basically did everything they could for me not to go out there saying no. So that's what I'm saying. You guys need to be multi-purpose.
That's awesome to know. Is there any more closing things you guys can tell us about this, about graduating, as far as students coming in?
Make yourself indispensable. Be the best of the best, whatever you can do. And, you know, this is not only during your class times, but everything you put into your interviews, to your resumes, to your portfolios. Be the best. Don't slack. Don't think it's going to take, you know, some shortcut to get to the people. But, you know, just be the best.
Well, thank you guys for coming out. That about wraps it up. This is a Livewire special. I'd like to thank our guests, Rebecca, Nate, and Jim, for the information and advice. And thank you for watching, and have a great day.